Hey, Coach Colin Castello with Shot Mechanics Basketball, and welcome to another episode of the Ask Coach C series. Today we're going to learn a lot of cool stuff from questions asked by you guys. So let's jump right into it.
Alright, so first question comes from Caleb, and he wants to know, Yo, Coach Colin, I have a huge problem. Every time I hold my follow through, it ends up being too high to the point where it's almost vertical. How can I solve this problem?
All right, so this is something that happens to players quite a bit because one of the main problems that a lot of shooters have is that their release is too low. So it means that their shooting elbow is below their eye line, somewhere in here, right? So then at some point somebody tells them, it might be me, it might be their coach, it might be somebody else, tells them that they need to bring their release up. And so I always like to think about elbow above your eye. So as you're shooting, your elbow wants to be slightly above your eye line here. But what happens a lot of times is kids or athletes kind of take it too far in the opposite direction. So if their release is too low and then somebody says too high, then they crank it way too far up and their elbow's above kind of the top of their head. Now, too high of a release is also going to hurt your shooting percentage chances as well. So it's important that you make sure that your release isn't too high. So all you got to do is that if you find that your release is too high, you just want to crank that release down a little bit so your elbow's just barely above your eye. And that'll give you that optimal 45 to 47 degree angle of release. And then it's going to give the ball the best chance it has to go in the basket. So if you're working by yourself, sometimes it's really hard to tell where your release is at, if it's too low, if it's too high, or if it's just right. So I like to use outside tools and resources to figure it out. So my overall favorite way to figure it out is the Up My Game app that you can download from the App Store. Some of you might have heard me talk about it before, and it's an awesome way to kind of check your jumper out and make sure that all the mechanics are perfect on it. What's also cool about Up My Game is once you download it and then upload a video of yourself shooting, there's a whole bunch of other coaches other than just me that are in the app that'll help you on your jumper. And the community is a really great community. There's other athletes helping other athletes out. And it's pretty cool because once you start kind of looking at other people's jumpers and helping them figure out what's wrong, a lot of times that'll help you get a better jumper because you start thinking about your own mechanics as well. And once you download the app from the iOS store, you're definitely going to want to follow me at Shot Mechanics because I put videos out every now and again and I pop in and out of the reviews and the comments, just make sure everything's going smoothly. It's honestly one of the best shooting apps out there, and it definitely has my full support. So if you're having trouble with your release angle or any of your mechanics in general, I highly suggest downloading the Up My Game app on any Apple device and then uploading a video of yourself and then being able to check it out. Who knows, I might pop in and be able to take a look at it. I know a lot of you guys have downloaded the app before, and there's a lot of new really cool features that they've just rolled out in the last couple months. So if you haven't been in for a while, you definitely want to go back in and check it out.
All right, so next question is from Jazim, and they want to know, how can I stop shooting from my chest?
All right, phenomenal question, and one that I actually get a ton. And the reason is because when younger shooters are shooting, most of the time they need extra power, right? So shooting from their chest is a very natural way to get that extra boost on the basketball. The only issue is as you get older, if that's your only muscle memory, it becomes really, really hard to shoot. And if you're shooting from your chest, it's really easy for defenders to defend, and it's hard to get a shot off in game. So I'm really glad that you asked this question because I know it slows a lot of especially younger players down. All right, so the best way to solve this is maximizing your up force, meaning that as you jump, you're gonna translate the momentum through your body into the basketball towards the hoop. Now, a lot of kids, when they start bringing the ball up by their forehead to shoot, it turns into a two motion shot because they're still trying to get that extra power, right? So they crank the ball back, maybe it's by the side of their head, maybe it's over their head, but whatever it is, they're trying to get that extra power. And then that's when your shot turns into that two motion shot and it makes it a lot harder to hit. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the ball up by our forehead or up by our face instead of our chest, but we want to do it in still a one motion shot. So there's a few different kind of little tweaks you can add to your mechanics that are really going to help you out. So the first thing is shooting off of a two-footed hop. You know, a lot of young players are taught that a 1-2 step is the best way to be in control into their jumper, but the problem is that 1-2 step can suck a ton of the momentum out of the jumper. As you're planting those heels into the ground, it almost takes it out of your body, and then you got to regather it back up. So I'd highly recommend shooting off of a two-footed hop, using the momentum of your catch to drive into the basketball. Now, kind of a key to think about when you're shooting off of a two-footed hop is you want to keep your heels off of the ground. If your heels are off the ground just a couple inches, it allows that natural spring that's going to generate through your body and into the basketball. Next, you're going to want to add a ball dip. So when you catch the ball, you're going to want to dip it down to either your belt line or your mid-thigh, depending on what's comfortable for you. That way you generate that up force as it goes down and it comes back up out of your dip. A lot of coaches tell you not to shoot with a dip, but honestly, the best shooters in the world all do it, and it's gonna help you get that range and help you get that power and help you get that ball up by your face or your forehead and away from your chest. And finally, you want what I like to call a delayed set point, meaning that the ball's gonna reach your set point, either your face or your forehead, wherever it's gonna be, at the same time your legs are locking out. A big problem that a lot of young athletes have is that they bring the ball up to their set point while their legs are still completely bended. That way the ball gets to their set point, it rests as their legs jump, and it takes out all the up force that they used from bringing the ball up. I got a great email the other day where a kid asked about this, and he asked, should it feel like I'm pushing the ball up or that I'm pulling the ball up? And after I thought about it, I really like the concept of that you're pulling the ball up. So as you're pulling the ball up out of your dip, that's what's gonna generate that upward momentum into the shot, giving you that extra power you need to have your set point by your face or your forehead.
All right, so the next question comes from Aiden, and he wants to know, what part of the rim should I aim for? What part of the rim do you aim for? I've used about everything I've ever heard of.
Really solid question. This is one that there's a lot of kind of misinformation about out there. Now, a lot of coaches like to tell you that you have to aim at one specific spot, right? They'll say you gotta aim for the front of the rim, or you gotta aim for the back of the rim, or you gotta aim for the nest or the center of the rim. And really, it's just kind of a matter of personal preference. Different people like different things, and different things give different people better results. So just from my personal preference, this is what I like to aim at. Might work for you, might not. Maybe you've never heard it before because I've never heard anybody else talk about it. But I like to aim about 2 to 3 inches below the back of the rim. So what I do is I try to look up, I try to find where the net's coming together for that first tie mark, and I try to aim for the back there. The reason being, if you're aiming for the back of the rim, which a lot of coaches say, or the front of the rim, which a lot of coaches say, if you have a perfect shot, if you shoot a shot absolutely perfect and it hits your target, you're probably gonna miss. And we really don't want that, right? We wanna aim for, if we hit a perfect shot, we're gonna make our shot. So if I aim about 2 to 3 inches below the back iron, if I can get a ball to hit that point, it's gonna be perfect, nothing but net through the back of the hoop. Science and research has shown that you want your ball to enter the rim at about 11 inches deep, so 11 inches from the front of the rim. And so that's a great way to get the ball to have that perfect trajectory to come down. So experiment with it, totally up to you, but I personally like to aim about 2 to 3 inches below the back of the rim. All right, if you wouldn't mind, do me a solid, hit that like button, hit the subscription button if you haven't already, that way you get all our videos as soon as they come out, and then go to the comment section and leave a question that you want answered. This is a great forum that we have going here with the Ask Coach C series, and it's all because you guys have phenomenal questions that can help everybody out. And if you're new to shot mechanics, you're gonna wanna hit this button up here, or the link in the description, get a free copy of my top 3 favorite shooting secrets. These are shooting secrets that thousands of members of the Splash Army have already plugged into their game and are seeing some incredible results, sometimes in the very first 10 minutes that they use them. Again, I'm Coach Colin Castello with Shot Mechanics Basketball. I'll see you inside the Up My Game app, and splash on.